Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the next part of my ultimate guide for Scum 1.0. And yeah, if any of you are still wondering why am I making 1.0 guides when 1.0 isn't released yet, is because a lot of the basic mechanics of Scum will not change. How you survive, how you build the base, how you traverse, the map's going to get more beautiful. The POIs are going to be revamped, but it's still going to be the same POIs. The loot might change a little bit, but the basics of Scum will not change. And that's why I want to teach you all the basics and all the advanced things before 1.0 comes out, so that when 1.0 comes out, I can only focus on the new things to get you up to date with all the changes, because that's what I specialize in and that's what I'm passionate about. Figuring out everything that a game adds and then mastering those certain aspects of the game. And yes, after 1.0, I will be mastering everything that the game throws at me. Like, I'm average at everything, but it will be my focus to be above average with lockpicking, wire cutting, raiding, surviving, PvE aspects, Tech 1, soldiers, NPCs, you name it. And the reason that I've got 4 servers is to give you guys the experience that you're looking for. And I'm taking feedback from my entire community when it comes to my PvP server, which is now called Skull Island instead of Survival Evolved. I'm not going to be playing on Survival Evolved, but I'm letting the community tell me what they want there. Then on New Dawn, my PvE server, I feel the players there are very happy at the moment, but I am still going to do a final rundown of that server to get it ready for 1.0. Then on LDR, which is my solo duo server, which is going to be 50-50, PvP and PvE focused, that's where I'll be playing every single day for a minimum of 4 hours and then making videos of my experience. And then you guys will literally see how I apply what I've taught you just way faster, at a very high pace. And the reason I'm going to record most of the things that I do on LDR, I'll probably stream LDR through the day when I'm not going to be leveling up my skills, If you guys want to see me base building, you can always join my Discord and tell me you want to see everything. But I'm not going to show you how I wheelbarrow or how I level up my attributes or any boring things I won't show you. But I will be streaming Meat Grinder every single night. And then on Fridays and Saturdays, I will be streaming LDR. And I might even stream LDR on Sundays and just take the Monday off after 1.0 because I'm going to just love what I'm doing. So while I'm doing it, I might as well just share it with you guys. And then Meat Grinder is my personal server. It's my extreme hardcore server. The community doesn't have a lot of say with what I do on the Meat Grinder, because for all the players that have mastered the game or do need a bigger challenge, that server I created for me personally. So that server is what I need from Scum, and whoever is willing to join me in that experience is welcome. But, you have to stick to the rules, and you have to adapt to the experience that I'm creating there for you, because it's not for new players. There are new players that join, but it is extreme, So if you try and join the Meat Grinder and you don't like something, which is very likely, then just remember, LDR is there for small squads, SE is there for bigger squads, and New Dawn is there for a community feeling, where you can still maybe experience what you would have experienced on Meat Grinder, but just in a very, very friendly community. So yeah, I am almost done revamping all my servers. I'm very happy with the planning that I've done so far. I am going to release all the settings probably at the end of next week. So in my Discord, I'll have the exact settings on my Discord so that you can figure out what server you want to join when 1.0 comes out. I will not be hosting servers because I'm situated in South Africa. And I don't mind playing with 200 ping. Does it put me at a disadvantage? Does it add, extra bugs for me to deal with? Yes, but when I created the servers, it's not for me. It's for the community. So having European servers is the main thing so that everyone in the world can play together. And you can only host a server from where you are. So the only benefit that self-hosted servers will give me is I can maybe close my test server and then run a test server from my house so that I can do tests with 0 ping, or very, very low ping, and then, do guides for you on that test server. But regarding the other servers, I'm going to keep them in Europe. I'm going to keep paying for them. And hopefully you guys will keep supporting the channel and, enjoying the guides. Now, regarding today, we're at the third part of our guide series, and although not everyone wants to build a base, or some people don't build a base, and then they put everything in their vehicle, and then the vehicle falls through the ground, and then they lose all their gear, or they build a cave base or something, the reason I build a base is to get creative. And what I mean by creativity is I haven't been able to build a base like this, but like I say, I want to master the game. So that means mastering every single aspect of the game and showcasing what you can do in the game. So something I'm talking about is this. Now, this might not look great to all of you, but it definitely inspires me because I live in a normal house just like all of you, okay? I drive a normal vehicle, but I remember when I saw Simon Cowell's house I don't know where Simon Cowell's house is, but the white houses or the houses with the flat roofs have always inspired me to live in a house like that. I feel the flat roof houses are very beautiful, very well designed, and I'd love to live in a house like that one day. So the fact that this person in the Scum community, did something like this, which I've always wanted to try in Scum, but I've never got it right. At least I can get inspiration from this person, and see if I could do the same. So that's why I build bases. I don't build bases to just build a block that can't be raided. I build a base to work on my creativity. And yeah, it was just by accident that the Scum developers showcased what the community in Scum does. And this guy built the exact house that I dream about living in one day. And the fact that he painted it white and then other stuff he painted black is great. And they showcased a lot of other bases that inspired me. Like the other base I saw had a brick yard. Like the guy built brick foundations, but not for his base, just for the outside of his base. You can walk on a path with bricks surrounding the outside of your base. So there's a lot of creative things you can do. Unless you're just making a base to not be raided, then people usually go for the same design. As many walls as possible around the base, the tower with the upside down roofs. And I don't like that. If you like building a base like that, that's fine. But I build bases for creating something that I like. Creating something that I'm liking. I created this. I haven't seen this before, and I enjoy it. Okay? But that's the introduction. So let me tell you what's the other reason I always start with a base, especially after a fresh wipe. Okay, the reason that I build a base right from the start is usually because of the build that I go for. Like on a PvP server, I'm always going to go for advanced rifles. I'm always going to go for advanced running. I'm always going to go for advanced thievery. And I'm always going to probably go for advanced medical. Where on Meat Grinder, I'm going to start with advanced archery because puppets are a bigger threat to me than players. I'm still always going to go for running because I'm going to level up endurance through the game quite easily. And then I'll probably go for stealth because I have increased the skill gain on my servers to make the gap between great lockpickers and normal lockpickers to bring it close together. So I have increased the thievery skill gain on all my servers. I think on all my servers it's ×5, so you can level up thievery 5 times faster. Where on Meat Grinder, I think it's only thievery and medical that I'm allowing you to level up 3 times faster because Meat Grinder is supposed to be very, very hard. The reason for this is I don't like being forced to go for a meta build. And a good lockpicker doesn't care to start with no thievery because he can level up thievery because he's good. Where an average lockpicker, that tries to use a practice lockpicking board is going to get frustrated and not enjoy the experience, and then he'll be forced to start with advanced thievery. So what I did is by increasing the skill gain of thievery and other skills like medical, which no one really wants to level up naturally, I've put those skills that I find grindy because I play the game for 10,000 hours. I put those skill gains up so that you can level up every skill naturally if you want to, and that you can experience what the good lockpickers experience. You will never be as good as them unless you put a lot of hours in, like they put a lot of hours in, but at least you'll be able to start with advanced stealth and then level up thievery, and it won't take you a lifetime. And then when you're at advanced plus thievery, like when you've completed the circle and the good lockpicker has completed that circle, you can at least experience what he's experiencing. Not as fast as he can, because with advanced plus thievery, he's going to be even better than he was, but at least it puts you at a level where you can still try and raid him. You can still go to abandoned bunkers, open up the lockers. You can still do kill boxes because you are able to get to advanced plus thievery if you put the work in. Where he can still do a kill box, he can still do abandoned bunkers, and he can still raid without doing the grind. So I'm just giving you the ability to grind those skills out and get yourself closer to the masters in certain skills like thievery so that you can experience more of the game, so that you aren't forced to struggle with something. And at the moment, I don't think any average lockpicker is willing to complete the 10 million points that you need to get to Advanced Plus because it's a frustrating experience for them and they're not good at it. But as soon as I increase the skill gain for you by ×5, then at least you've got the opportunity to get to Advanced Plus Thievery, experience more of the game, have a little bit of a better time, actually feel good about the skill points that you get when you're on a lockpicking board. And I'm not taking anything away from the good lockpickers, because it doesn't matter what skill I let you get to, when they get there, they'll still be a lot better. So I'm not taking their advantage away. I'm just allowing you to enjoy the game more so that you're not forced to do a meta build. Okay, so in any case, on Meat Grinder, I'll probably start with Advanced Stealth and then I'll level up Thievery. And then on Meat Grinder, I'll probably go for Advanced Survival, because on Meat Grinder, you're probably going to die quite a lot. And what I've realized with Advanced Stealth and Advanced Survival is I'm very, very soft. Like you will see, you can just start running with a character with no stealth. As soon as you start, land on grass, like where I am here, start running, hear what you sound like. Then create a new character with advanced stealth, and then hear what you sound like. And you will see that it will give you an advantage over players and puppets, okay? You are much softer moving around. And then with Advanced Survival, I'm crafting everything a lot faster so that if I die, I can get to the bow and the axe and the arrows in a third of the time. that it would have taken me if I started with no survival. Can I level up survival? Yes, but on a hardcore server like the Meat Grinder, I'd like to get to the basic level really, really, really fast. And then again, the main purpose is so that you aren't forced to go for one build. You can go for any build, and with the skill gain multiplier that I'm giving you, you will be able to level up any skill naturally without wanting to throw your keyboard out the window or without wanting to rage quit Scum. Okay? Because of my 10,000 hours, I know what it feels like to level up all skills. And then I've just changed those settings to accommodate the average player. So right here, you can see the, archery, because I'm doing the guide on official settings. You will see here that I'm never going to increase the pace at which you level up archery, because I know you can do it naturally. And there's no frustration to it. I know you can level up aviation naturally. I know you can level up awareness naturally. I know nobody really levels up brawling. So, on my servers, I put brawling at 3. Like, I increase the speed at which you can level up brawling to 3, so that if you want to level it up, it doesn't become a chore. You can level it up naturally. We all know camouflage is easy because we lie down a lot. Cooking is easy if you just make multiple small fires, and make skewers, or you can get there naturally. Demolition, you can get there naturally, although I do know I'm above average with wire cutting. So I've adapted that as well. I've increased demolition on most of the servers to 3, except for Meat Grinder. Like I said, on Meat Grinder, I've just changed thievery and medical to 3. But on my other servers, I've changed thievery to a 5 times multiplier. And then all the other skills that I feel a casual player will struggle with and not have fun leveling up, I've changed that to 3. Okay, driving is good, endurance is good, engineering is good, farming is good, handguns are good. Medical, I've changed medical to 3 on most of my servers, so that doesn't drive you crazy. Melee weapons, I've changed to 3 because, it does take a heck of a long time, and it's not something you do naturally. You naturally shoot a bow, you naturally use a gun. So I've changed that to 3. Motorcycles, fine. Rifles are fine. If you want to know how to level up rifles or sniping, you just shoot a puppet or player, or you shoot Brenner, which is the meta. You go to the banner bunker, you alert Brenner by failing keypads, and then you go stand in the power room and you shoot Brenner with an MP5 and an ACOG scope on the MP5. Then you will level up rifles and sniping at the same time. Okay. And then stealth, I put a 3 times multiplier on stealth as well. So whether you start with stealth or you don't start with stealth, at least you can level it up naturally and it won't feel too tedious. I didn't change survival. Survival is, I feel, all right. And then thievery, I changed to 5. So I literally put the skill gain multiplier to 5. Okay. So that you can literally take any build you want. And every person in Scum knows leveling up thievery from no skill is the worst experience that you can get in Scum. Okay. And that's the reason that I'm countering that rage or that frustration for you. But in any case, we're just leaving all of this at normal. But let's just go back and let's get to the reason why I build a base. The reason I build a base is you can't repair armor if you don't have basic engineering. And you can't craft a compass if you don't. You can craft a compass, but you can't get north. Like I don't have a compass. Okay. You can't get the north, west, south, and east on when you hold in focus mode if you don't have basic survival plus a compass. Now, a lot of you will say, just find a compass and then you've got all the directions. Sure. But if you're that one person that finds everything except a compass, then getting to basic survival and being able to craft a compass quite quickly will make a major difference to you. So you can say it's easy to find a compass, but if you die a lot, then you're stuck not knowing where you are. So this way, if you reach basic survival, you'll have north. And then you just need a plank, a piece of scrap metal, and 15 uses of a toolbox to create an primitive compass, and that will give you all the directions. That will give you north, south, west, east, and you can navigate, around the map a lot easier. So that's why I built the base. And I'm going to show you now, like, I did level up my survival naturally with what we've done in part 1 and part 2, but I haven't done anything to my engineering. So I'm going to build my base now and show you exactly how long it takes me to get to basic engineering naturally with no unnatural skill gain, so that I can repair my helmet and my armor, and so that I can craft a compass and, see all the directions that I need to see. So I'm just going to craft a very, very basic base. I think I've showed all of you how to build a basic base. Some people ask me, how do I raise a platform? I raise a platform by looking up and down. Okay, I literally just look down and I look up, and then I use the mouse scroll wheel to turn it. Okay, and then I'm sure there's other keys that I haven't used yet. I'm sure there's fancy keys, guys. I'm almost sure there are very, very fancy keys that I haven't used yet. But in any case, and I like doing it in third person. As you guys can see, in first person, it's a little bit it's close to me now. It's far away from me. In third person, it's just a little bit easier. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the flat part here on my base. I want the flag to be inside my base location. So I'm just basically going to start right here. Not going to build too high, otherwise my stairs are going to be hanging in the sky. Don't want to go too low, because then I can't see my stairs, and maybe grass or rocks clip through the floor. So yeah, just going to basically do it a height that I like. I'm going to place it, and then I want to build 9 platforms to start with. Okay, so 9 platforms is going to require 9 times 2 sticks. So I'm going to need 18 sticks. I'm going to need 18 logs. I'm going to need rope, and I'm going to need a cutting tool. Now, you can use any cutting tool, but I suggest you use the hatchet, the improvised hatchet. That takes 1 scrap metal, 1 long stick, 1 bolt, 2 rope, 1 rag, and 2 toolbox uses. Okay? I will go get me a toolbox in that town quickly, or I can run to the quarry, or I can run to these farmlands. And yes, the other thing is, if you guys are asking, why do I feel this is the best base location in the game? Well, I made a little picture for you so that I can show you exactly why I feel that this is the best base location. So let me just try and find it here quickly for you. I thought I already put it in the right folder, but apparently I didn't. And I did edit it. I did. There we go. Okay, so open with photos. And here we go. Okay, so if we go to the screen capture, this is why I like the base location that I'm at. I'm below a town with a police station. So I can loot the police station regularly. The town has got food inside it. So I can get key cards. I'm close to one of my favorite locations, which is the B2 airfield. I'm close to a gas station where, if I die repeatedly, or if I need like a hiking backpack or a quiver, I can always go there. There's another town with a police station. Right next to the airfield, there's a factory. Then right here is military tents that almost nobody goes to. Okay, so there's military tents here, and I've got the shooting range here. The shooting range is one of my favorite places to do tests on. So the shooting range also has military tents. So I've got military tents there to loot for military gear. Got military tents here to loot for military gear. I can find TNT and building resources here. I can find building resources and a ton of military equipment here. I can find a lot of military equipment at the boot camp. I can find all my basic bow and arrow and sporting bag and swords and medieval swords that I can sell at the trader at the castle. I've got the boot camp, basically one sector away from me. I've got the satellite. I've got like the satellite place, a sector away from me where there's military sleeping quarters for me to get military clothing and equipment. Then, when I'm done there, if I don't have enough loot, I can always just quickly hop into the C2 bunker, which has got 3 armories, and then I can go sell it at the trader. Okay, so if you look at it, nothing important is more than a sector away from me. And once I've utilized what's around me, the trader is like 1.5 sectors away from me. So that's why I love the base location. But like I said, let me build the base and show you what I mean. Okay, I haven't even looted half of the town yet. I'm just eating as I go along. So just in the top half of my little town here, I found a small generator. So now I only need to find an electric stove and a pan and a pot, which I will find over time in this town. Just with the trees and the vegetables lying around, I got an apple, broccoli, cucumber, potato, found mushrooms in the bush. You guys know I found the instant oatmeal. I found carrots. So, a lot of different resources. Haven't found a toolbox yet, but because of the way we looted in part 1 and part 2, we've got 10 nails and 10 bolts, and I did pick up a few scrap metal so that we can craft a toolbox if we don't find a toolbox. But as you guys can see, there's a ton of resources here. I am full at the moment, and I mustn't forget my grill, because I only need a fireplace for the grill. I don't have the electric stove yet. I don't have a pot. I don't have a pan. I don't have cooking books. We are still going to find all of those things. Here's another 2 pairs. And I am eating now because I'm going to work on the base, and cutting down trees and bushes all day long will use a lot of energy. And that is why I picked up beer. If I can just show you guys, where did I put the beer? There's the beer. The beer gives you a lot of calories. Now, you don't want to drink all 5 uses, but as soon as you drink beer, it stops you from using carbs. What do I mean by that? So I'm taking this in my hands, I'm jogging, and I'm burning 300 calories per hour. My intake is only 230, but my carbs, if you've got carbs in your system, you won't be using a lot of protein. And I always want to keep my protein high, because the protein lets me gain strength over time. Without protein, I don't gain strength. Now, because I'm using 80 grams per hour at this moment, when I drink a beer, 1 use of a beer, then I'm not using any carbs. Okay, and look at my intake on my energy now. It's very, 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 very high. Okay, so that's why you drink beer, because your carbs, I'm still using very, very little protein. Okay, I've got 50 grams. I'm only using like 4 grams an hour. But as soon as my carbs run out, as soon as my carbs are at 0, I'm going to be using a heck of a lot more protein. So you drink beer to give you a temporary buff where you're not using any carbs, okay? Which is very, very important for base building. So since I've got since I'm full at the moment and I've got food and I can craft a toolbox, we're going to go to the base now and start building. Now, the one thing with beer is, if you want to use beer and wine to protect your carbs for a temporarily. Remember that, yes, the beer did make me drunk, but because I'm putting my body under pressure, the drunkenness is gonna go away. Same with wine. If you only drink one use of wine, it's going to protect your carbs. Okay. Now the beer's gone. No, the beer's effect is gone. Although the beer is still in my system, the effect of the beer is gone. So I can always just drink another beer, drink once more. Put it there. Take that in my hand. And then keep jogging. And there the beer effect is back. I'm still gaining carbs because of the pear that I've eaten. You guys can see their intake is 73 grams per hour, but I'm not losing any energy at the moment. You guys can see my energy is going up. And this is a good way to get your carbs up, because when you eat something that gives you carbs, like this, the instant oatmeal gives me carbs. When you eat something that gives you carbs, you're usually burning through it at the same rate as what it's helping you, because you're carrying heavy equipment or a gun or something like that. Where now you can see, because the instant oatmeal, my intake went up to 130 grams per hour, and my carbs are literally going up because the beer is preventing my body from using the carbs. My body's basically just using the beer at the moment. So you can do this safely with beer and wine, but just remember that if you drink hard alcohol, like whiskey or, all the hard liquors, you will get drunk, your screen will get fuzzy, and it won't be a great experience. So if you want to use alcohol to protect your carbs, use beer or wine, okay? So let me go craft the toolbox, which is going to be very, very, very easy. I can just come here and type in tool. And all I need is 2 scrap, which I've got. I need 2 planks, which I'm going to get because I know how to craft an axe. Got a nail, got a bolt. And I just need, when I've crafted an axe, to cut down the tree, to cut down the logs, to have planks. Because of the axe and the plank, I can make a club, a wooden club that will act as a blunt tool to make the toolbox. Okay. And then I'll be able to craft the toolbox. And with the toolbox, I'll be able to craft, the hatchet, which is the best tool to build your base with. That's very, very basic. Okay, so we crafted the basic axe. We know how to craft the basic axe. I cut down the tree. I cut down a log into planks. And now I need to craft a club. And if you go look at what a club needs a plank and an axe, specifically an axe. So you can't do this with any cutting tool, okay? It specifically needs an axe. So now I can craft the club, which counts as a blunt weapon. And now I can craft the toolbox, because the toolbox needs 2 scrap, 2 planks, 1 nail, 1 bolt, and a blunt weapon, which I have. That's why it's going to use the blunt weapon. And now with the toolbox in my inventory, I can craft the okay, what do I still need for the hatchet? So I'm just going to go here. Going to go to the hatchet. We need 2 more rope. We need 2 more rope. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up this because I need cloth. So I'm going to cut up the willy warmer. And then I did find a grinding stone. So I am able to use my sword. And the reason I want to use my sword is because a sword will give me 5 short sticks from a long stick, where the axe is only going to give me 3. Okay, so if I cut this long stick into short sticks with a proper tool, and I'm not scared of the durability loss because I've got the grinding stone. Okay, it still gives me 3. Okay, but the hatchet that I'm planning on crafting is going to give me more. So I'm just going to make 2 rope quickly, and then I'll be back. So there I've got the 2 rope that I need. Okay, I'm just going to put this back because I'm triple carrying. And now I'm able to craft the improvised hatchet, which is very, very, very important. Now, this hatchet can be repaired by the grinding stone. So I can go repair with the grinding stone. Okay, you can see the grinding stone is less. That's right, I can even repair my metal sword with a grinding stone. Where if I don't have a grinding stone, I need a toolbox and I need to stand in front of a workbench to do what I'm doing at the moment. So now I'm replacing the axe with the improvised hatchet because it just lasts a lot longer and it gives me more sticks. What do I mean by more sticks? So if I cut down this with a sword, which is not right, and I just take one of the long sticks with me. Okay, there's a long stick. Now, if I use the hatchet, it gives me 5 short sticks instead of 3 short sticks. Now, let me just pee again. And if you guys are wondering why did I pick up the lead plate so early, is because I want to craft the biggest chest I can craft right from the start. And to craft the biggest chest that I can craft right from the start, I need the lead plating. Okay, so I'm going to add everything to this blueprint. So I need 4 more uses of a toolbox, and I need 7 more scrap metal. Okay, so to get that, and I'm not worried about this that's lying on the ground because I've got a flag. So these things will stay here for a while. But I need this chest so I can take everything out of my backpack because I'm going to be carrying logs around, and I can use the chest to carry logs and stuff, which I'm going to show you now. But for now, I'm just going to go to this farmhouse that's right next to me and get the scrap metal that I need and maybe get a toolbox. Now, I wasn't lucky enough to find enough scrap metal at the little farmstead. I've got 8 scrap metal, but luckily I know I've got an abandoned bunker just south of me, which has these lovely things called trucks that can give me the scrap metal that I need. So I need 2 more scrap metal. I'm just going to go to the truck over here. And there I've got enough scrap metal. Okay, I'm going to put the hatchet in my hand and just collect enough scrap metal to sustain myself. See if there's any military gear lying around here. Toasty pastries. I don't really like the fat contents, and so, since my food is sorted out, I don't have to be desperate with that. I did pick up the pickaxe because I know it's a quest item. And when I go back to my base and I craft the chest, I'm going to run back to the farm, the little farmstead, because I know there's a rebar cutter there and a drill. So I'm going to go get that and put that in my chest as well, so that I don't look for it when I need it. So yeah, we're just going to check this place quickly. See if there's any military gear in here. No. You can find armor and helmets in here. And you can find pots and pans in any kitchen. But I'm just going to quickly see if there's another truck, because I came here for scrap metal. I'll quickly check this for a lucky screwdriver or something. There we find 5 slugs, but they bad durability. And that's not very, very good. If you use bad durability ammo or magazines or a gun, it can jam on you, which isn't great. And I've got enough scrap metal. I can literally go back now. But yeah, this specific abandoned bunker doesn't have a lot of trucks. So can't really rely on this place for a lot of scrap metal. But, you know, if I just need a little bit of scrap metal, I can always come here. And if I need more scrap metal, I can always go to the C1 bunker, or the B1 bunker, or the B3 bunker. I've got a lot of choices around me. But if I'm needing cars, I can always go to the airfield. the airfield that's got a lot of cars as well. That can give me scrap metal. And then later on, when I've got a vehicle, I can always go to the scrap yard. So let's get back to the base. What I'm just going to do now is get back to base, craft a chest, run to the farmstead, get that drill and rebar cutter, come back, and then start building the base. And luckily, I don't have to craft another toolbox because we found a toolbox at the farm. And there we go. Now I can put the grill in here. I can put the generator in here. I can put the pickaxe in here. I can put the toolbox in here. Just lighten the load. Yeah, just lighten my load. I'm not going to use that right now. Basically just, get the equipment out of my inventory so that I can carry as much as possible. Always lock everything that you put loot inside. Everything. If you don't lock it, you don't own it. Okay? Remember that. If you don't lock it, you don't own it. So I feel that's enough inventory space. I can put the 3 knives in here for now, in case I find something else. I mean, I didn't search the entire farm. So not going to need that those BMG rounds right now. Not going to need the rope right now. Let's just see if I'm carrying. And then I can't use the ballista bow right now, but at least I can put the ballista bow in my chest. And then when my archery skill is high enough, I can use it. Not going to use the rubber gloves right now. And that's fine. Okay, so let me go get those 2 items quickly. Take mental notes when you find strawberries around your base or Luthais mushrooms. Luthais mushrooms are nice, thick, brown mushrooms. They have 2 uses. They are the best mushrooms to use with cooking. And then, while you're building your base, you might run out of food and you don't want to run back to a town or whatever the case may be. So just, take mental notes of where these resources are around you that you can use them repeatedly. Now, I know that loot takes 30 minutes to respawn. What I mean by that is if you loot an entire place, you have to move more than 50 meters away from that location to be safe. Move 100 or 200 meters away from that location. And within a half an hour, all the loot will respawn, but it will be different loot. Now, just like I know loot takes 30 minutes to respawn, I know that if I find something in a container that I want, it's going to take time to change to something else. So instead of dragging it out of the container and leaving it on the floor, I would rather just search it again. But you can leave it on the floor as well. I mean, it's probably going to take half an hour to despawn. Although I just like leaving it in the container so that I can find it again. And I know there's a drill here and a rebar cutter. So let me quickly just look for it. I know I found a drill and a rebar cutter. I'm just going to go through here. As you can see, I've searched this before because there's no hourglass happening. Okay, it's not in there. Trying to figure out where I saw it. Okay, so here we are at the next farmstead. I know there's a drill and a rebar cutter somewhere. Again, I've searched all of this because there's no hourglass. There we go. There's the drill. I knew I left the drill behind. And then I left the rebar cutter behind. Not in there. There's the rebar cutter. Okay, so there I find the rebar cutter and the drill, which is very, very important for various reasons. With the drill, I can craft a grenade launcher, which is a very, very powerful weapon against a vehicle. And with the rebar cutter, I know I can craft a workbench in my base. Not that I need a workbench in my base, but I can craft it in my base. And I need a drill and I need a rebar cutter if I'm going to build an improvised workbench inside my base. Okay, so I can either use the drill for the grenade launcher, Or I can use the drill and the rebar cutter and the other basic equipment to build a improvised workbench. Then I don't have to go to a workbench if I want to repair something or turn scrap metal into bolts or turn scrap metal into nails, which you can at a workbench. There's quite a few things that you can do at a workbench. I just saw a bunny. I just saw a bunny. There's the bunny. Now, I'm not going to kill the bunny, but if you're very, very desperate for some meat, you can kill a bunny. Okay? I'm not going to kill a bunny because I think they're cute. But yes, there's a bunny. Very, very, very fast bunny. Okay, there's the bunny. Where'd the bunny go? There's the bunny. And yes, you can kill the bunny if you want to. Okay? But I'm not killing the bunny. Because I'm surrounded by food. This is the food that I got at the farmstead. There are 2 strawberry fields close to my base. So I'm just going to come to the chest. Put my food over here for when I need it. And then I'm going to cook quickly. That is a Boletus edulis mushroom. It's got 2 uses. Look at the water contents. It's got 198 milliliters of water. I know it says grams, but it's milliliters. Yeah, where this mushroom only has 65 milliliters of water. And this one has 2 uses. So this is the best mushroom to cook food with, which I am going to do right now. I'm going to cook food right now because I can just go and grab a long stick, which should be quite easy. And no, I don't want to use that. So take that in your hands. Use that. Then I just grab one long stick because I've still got the piece of paper that I tore out of the book. Do I still have the book? Yeah, I still have the book with the pages in. So now I'll just go over here. And I go base building. And I go to utilities. And I craft a small little fireplace. Now I can add the 5 long sticks to it by cutting this long stick into small sticks. Let me just make sure I've got the right tool. Yep, cut into small sticks, which will give me 5 small sticks, which is enough for the fire. And then hopefully I use the page. Hopefully. So we're 1. Hopefully I use the page. Yes, I used the page. There's the fire. I've got a lighter on me to light the fire. And now I can go to a vegetable skewer, add the potato, add the carrots because they're vegetables, and then I can add the Boletus mushroom, and I don't have any salt or black pepper on me, but I will buy that from the traders at some point. Okie dokie. So go back to the chest, make sure you put all the heavy stuff in here. Make sure you can keep this on you, in case you want to sharpen your tool. Put this down here. And my hiking backpack is relatively empty. Okay, so how do I put the resources into the chest? Well, before I do that, I'm just going to add an alarm here so I don't burn my food. I'm going to add a 2-minute alarm. What I do now is I open this screen and then I drag the chest to the trees. Okay, I literally drag my chest to the trees, but I must be careful because I can only drag a chest like that within my flag zone. So I don't want to go out of my flag zone, show flag area. There we go. You can see I put the flag there so that I can still drag a chest like this. As soon as I go outside my flag zone, I can't drag a chest like this. Now I can cut down the tree and put all the logs in the chest and not tire myself to death carrying it back to the base. So there's all the logs, put the chest in the middle, and I just drag the logs and the branch into the chest. I go to the next tree. Go to the next tree, cut this one down. And because I crafted a metal chest, it can hold a lot more than a wooden chest. That's why I crafted a metal chest. It's full. Now I don't have to carry myself to death. I open the screen again. And I just... You don't have to run. You can jog. You can jog. Okay, and just do it peacefully like this. But I mean, I'm not carrying anything. I'm just dragging something to my base. And there we go. Now I can literally just drag the 2 logs out. And I can add it to that. And now I can drag the stick out. And I'm never going to use long sticks. And again, this stick is going to be in a circle. So I'm actually going to put the stick here. And I'm going to put the chest out of the way. And then my alarm's going to go off. So I'm going to not burn my food because I've got the DLC with the watch, which helps me a lot to not burn food, which is fantastic. So there we go. We've got the food. Now we can put out the fire so we don't waste the sticks and resource that we put in it. And you can, like, I can even cut up the shirt because I don't think I picked up gloves. And if you work on your base constantly, you are going to pick up hand abrasions. So what I would rather do is just craft gloves. Just normal rag gloves, just to protect my hands while I'm working on the base. There we go, so I can wear those gloves so I don't hurt my hands while I'm working. And now I can cut up, because, you know, I'm going to build like a 3x3 here. So, just going to cut up this branch. And then I'm going to cut every single long stick into short sticks, because you never want to fill your base building blueprints with long sticks. Because remember, if you put long sticks into your blueprints, you're wasting 5 sticks with every long stick. So if the blueprint says it needs like an outer wall, let's say you're crafting an outer wall. Okay? This is an outer wall. If you craft an outer wall, it tells you it needs 14 sticks. Now I can literally put the 14 long sticks into this, but then I'm wasting a ton of sticks and a ton of time, because every long stick, when I cut it up, gives me 5 short sticks. And the wall and the base building blueprints can take long sticks and short sticks. So the biggest mistake you can make, okay, is adding long sticks to a blueprint, because you're just wasting a ton of time. Just cut all your long sticks into short sticks. You are leveling up survival while you're doing it. We're at 7,200 now. We're going to cut up another long stick into short sticks. So 7,293 goes to 7,300. Okay? Again, there's nothing in Scum that you do that is wasting your time. Everything has a purpose. Everything improves your character. I'm just dragging all my logs out of my chest. So now, because I've got the short sticks here, probably have to craft 1 rope as well, because it needs rope. I'm going to craft 1 rope. I think I'll craft 2 rope. And when you've got too many items in your vicinity, the items that you want don't always show up. But you can always just look directly at the items and pick them up. Okay? So now we're fulfilling this blueprint. And then we're going to base building, platforms, craft this one, put this one down, Shift F to add everything. And now I'm just pressing Alt C to copy the last blueprint, that I don't have to go to the menu anymore. Press F, Shift F, Alt C, copy this blueprint, put it there, Shift F. Okay, just way easier to do it like that. And now I need the 2 logs, which we're going to put here, Control C to repeat the last blueprint that I chose. And there we go. Now we're out of logs, and now we're just going to run back to the tree with our little chest. And now, because the thing is, I've got a branch I've got a branch which is wasting space. So I'm rather just going to take the branch in my hands. Take in hands. And I'm just going to leave the branch here because I'm probably going to cut up the branch here. Okay. So I'm just going to point it in the direction that we trained it would go. Okay, there we go. And now I've got a lot more space in the chest to just bring logs back. Okay, because logs are taking the most amount of space. And there we go. Now, because I know I'm going to need the logs on this side, I'm literally just going to drop them on this side. Okay. And then Alt-C is my last blueprint. But look at this now. Look at this. I've got 33% engineering. Look at what happens when I fill this blueprint. And I know I need 2 sticks. And that's why I want space in my backpack. So I can just carry the sticks on me. So look there. 33%. 36%. %. Okay, I'm leveling up my engineering naturally. So you can have a porch if you want to. I'm not going to build a porch right now because these 9 platforms are going to be closed up by walls. But I can put 3 more platforms down, you know, so I can come out and stand on my porch and, you know, have a nice house. But my target, my only target is getting to basic engineering. So that's my target, okay? So I'm going to go now crafting. Then I'm going to build stairs. There's the stairs. I think I'm going to put my the thing here. And then I need the 1 log. Just going to click on the log because I've got space in my backpack. There that is. Now I'm going to craft myself a single door frame. Okay, and I'm going to make sure the arrow points outwards because that's the outside of the wall. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to go to the walls, just a plain closed up wall with the arrows pointing outwards. And I'm going to press Control-C to repeat the last blueprint until I'm going to run out of blueprints. It will tell you when you can't do any more blueprints. There, can't do any more blueprints. So now it needs a lot of sticks. It needs a lot of sticks. So I'm going to come and pick up all these sticks. That's why I want space in my backpack. And it does need a lot of logs, which is nice. But it does need a bit of rope. So we're going to need more rope. Okay? And that's what the stick is here for. You cut it up into sticks and then cut the long sticks into small sticks. You need to do this regularly because this is what levels up your survival. And you want to reach basic survival at the same time as what you reach basic engineering. Now, the reason my improvised hatchet is already at 47% is not because of just cutting sticks. It's because I'm using the hatchet to add the cutting uses to these walls. Okay. So if I go, it's on 46.3%. If I fill this blueprint with the cutting uses, okay, it's still on 46.3%, but it's using something else. It's definitely using something else. 40. Yes, now it's using my sword. So my sword is at 63, but I don't want to use my sword. Let's say I want to use the improvised hatchet. Then I'm going to press Shift F with the improvised hatchet in my hand to tell the game, use this to fill this blueprint. So we're on 46.3. Now we're on 44.4. That took away 2% durability, which is not good. And that's why I told you guys to get the kitchen knives, because now we can take the kitchen knife in our hand and we can add the kitchen knife. So the hatchet's at 44.4. And this is at 88.7. Now we can use the kitchen knife to add all the knife uses to the blueprints. And now the kitchen knife's at 71%, but my improvised hatchet is still at 44.4%, which will come in handy when you do outer walls, because outer walls breaks your cutting tool extremely fast. Extremely fast. That takes 40%. Okay, not 40%, but it breaks the cutting tool. So always put the item in your hand that you want it to get the durability from. Now I'm just going to repair the hatchet with a grinding stone. I forgot about that. I keep forgetting about that, but that's why I'm teaching you guys to change your tactics. So we've got the kitchen knife in case so when we bolt the outer walls, we put the kitchen knife in our hand, then we press Shift F on the outer wall so that it uses the tool that we're not mainly using to cut everything up. Okay, so there we go. And we need sticks here, so we're just going to run around and get the sticks. There we go. Let's get a few sticks here. And we've got a bunch of sticks here as well. We're just going to do that. And then we're going to get a log over here. There we go. There we go. And it looks like we used all our logs. Yep, we did use all our logs. So let's just add a bunch of sticks to us so that we can at least complete the stick section of our journey. And then we know we just need the logs. Okay. So boom, boom. You see we're filling everything except for the logs. But that means we know we just need logs. There we go. Nope, we need more sticks. So we take the sticks. Okay, and that's why I wanted an empty backpack. Okay, now we just need single logs to complete that. And we completed a few blueprints. So... I showed you the example of the wall, but now we need the modular wall. So we're going to add that there. Alt-C, add that there. And again, I want to use the kitchen knife, so I'm going to put the kitchen knife in my hand, add those uses, and then I see I need 3 more sticks. Didn't damage my tool at all. And grab the 3 sticks. And add the 3 sticks right there. And now I'm just going to need logs, and I'm going to complete the walls. And you can see everything is moving along very, very, very nicely. Okie, we need 3 logs. 1, 2, 3. Move the chest again. Move it to the middle. Drag out 3 logs. We need 2 logs over there. Drag the chest. Boom, boom. Bring the chest over here. Now we need a door. What? No, that's not a door. That's a door. There we go. We need a log. Get the log out here. And then we need a stick. Get the sticks again. Okay. Then we need to make some roofs. And the easy way is just to make the roofs. That's a very, very easy way to do it. The problem with Scum at the moment, I don't know if it's going to improve with the 1.0 update, but the problem is if somebody destroys your walls, then your roof collapses. So what I want to do, I don't want to attach the roof. Like if I go a floor now the floor is attached to the wall. So if somebody blows through the wall, because the floor was attached to the wall, the floor comes down as well. So what I like to do is I like to make supports. Okay, so one support there, one support there, one support there, and one support there. And I need logs here, it's fine. So I'm just filling the blueprints. So I need one more rope. So I'm going to craft one more rope here. Because I can see I ran out of rope. And then I need 4 logs. Hopefully I've got 4 logs in the chest. Okay, so now I can put the rope there. Now I see that needs rope. That needs some rope. And that needs some rope. Okay, and hopefully we've got 4 logs here. Let's just quickly see here. Okay, I don't think we're gonna have 4 logs. We need to get 2 more logs, which is not going to take us long. We're just going to target a tree. There's the tree that we are targeting. So let's go. Aim for that tree and just... I like jogging. The running feels a little bit not stable, so jogging feels a lot more stable. Put it down here. And I left the hatchet somewhere. I was probably triple carrying. There's the hatchet, take it in hands. And I got lazy again. You guys can see the hatchet lost a bit of durability, but it's fine, it's fine. Just know that if you don't want to keep crafting hatchets, you know, have those kitchen knives. Or people use stone knives, but stone knives don't have a lot of durability to put into the blueprints. That's why I collect a bunch of kitchen knives, because kitchen knives have a lot of durability. And then I don't have to break my, I don't have to craft stone knives all the time. So again, you can always look down. You can look down to make it easier for yourself. Yeah? As you're looking down, it's easy just to drag the chest in front of your face. Little bit shorter movements. Okay, so now we need 4 logs. We're going to drag the 2 logs out. Hopefully we can see the 4 logs in our vicinity. So now we can drag the 4 logs inside to make it easier accessible. No. Need another log. There we go. And that's all the supports need. Is another log. And now when I go to the floor, I can snap the floor to the supports. Okay? If you want to make sure the floor snaps to the supports, do the supports and the floors first, then you do the walls. Because if you build the floor now, like this, the game can maybe get confused and say this floor is still attached to the wall. But if you build the supports first and then the floors first, then the game can't be confused. The game knows that the floors are attached to the supports, and if somebody blows up your wall, the floor won't come crashing down. I just look at the supports to hopefully, make sure the game knows that it's attached to the support and not to the wall. And now I just need a bunch of rope and a bunch of sticks. So what I do now is I take the 2 short sticks, but I take the long stick as well, because I don't have to cut up the long stick there. I can cut up the long stick inside my base, which is better, faster, more efficient, okay? So cut up the small stick into long sticks right here. There we go. Apparently I ran out of sticks. So let's go get more sticks. I can use the branch, guys, but I mean, it's so little sticks. I'm not stressing about it. I'm really not stressing about it. I'm just collecting the long sticks as well, so I can cut. I can cut up the long sticks when I'm inside the base. Oh, and it's giving us 2 long sticks. That's a great bonus. Just make space for the long stick. Okay, make space for the long stick. Make space for the long stick. There we go. Because a long stick is worth 5 small sticks. Okay, so now we just cut up the long sticks. Again, we never, ever, ever, ever want to add a long stick to a blueprint. Wastes a ton of time. I really think I've got enough sticks now, but in any case, you can see, look at the little bit of short sticks I had in my backpack and look at what all the long sticks turned into. And I think I need to craft 1 more rope. Yeah, I think I'm going to need to craft 1 more rope. Put the rope in my inventory. There we go. And then, no. Control C is going to craft the last thing that you crafted. You have to select a new blueprint. So I'm going to look at this corner, put it there, Shift F. Why don't I have, why? Look at it. I don't really know what's going on here. Okay. Yeah, I lost control of my character here for some reason. Okay, just because I tapped Alt. Alt is usually the reason for that happening. So yeah, I'm just going to stand. I'm going to put the short sticks on me because I want to look at the, at the support. So Shift F. Now I'm going to look at the support. Alt C, same blueprint. I want to look at the support. Shift F, Shift F. Alt C, I want to look at the support, Shift F, and I want to look, Alt C, look at the support, and there we go. We have got a base. We have got a nice little base, and luckily I did collect 2 locks. Yeah, I did collect 2 locks. So again, I'm putting the lock on the door, because if I don't put the lock on the door, I don't own this base. Okay. So, that's it. Now we can put the chest inside the base. Or we can go bury it. If you're scared of being raided, you can always go bury it. Okay, so we can put that in there. Everything is nice and clean. And we are not at basic survival. But luckily, I know that when you cut down a tree, you get quite a few skill points. Yeah, you get 100 skill points. So I know when I cut down this tree, I'm going to end up at 10,033 experience points, which puts me at basic survival. There we go. We just reached basic survival, which is 10,150 points. And now when we press focus, we have got north. But we've only got north. Okay, we've only got north, and we don't just want north. So now we're going to cut this branch into planks. Okay, and the branch tells us we need 1 log, a toolbox, and a piece of scrap metal. So now we're going to go to our chest, and we're going to take the 1 scrap metal, and we're going to take the toolbox, and then we are going to craft. And now with a primitive compass in our inventory and basic survival, we have got all 4 directions. If you guys look at the top of the screen, right at the top of the screen, while I'm using focus mode, we have got all the directions: north, east, south, west, and now we can navigate. If we want to go east, we go east, exactly east. That's east. Okay. If we want to go to the trader, that's like northeast. So then we point northeast. And if we want to go to the quarries, that's southwest. So then we put southwest, and that helps us a heck of a lot. And then later, while we're building our base, while we're making it bigger, while we're upgrading it, we will increase our engineering skill, but we have exactly what we need now. We can repair our armor and our helmets, because without advanced engineering, we can't. We can get all the directions with our compass, because we've got basic survival. The more time we put into our base, the higher our engineering will climb, which will only enable us to use less resources. Like the lower your engineering is, the more resources every base part needs. The higher your engineering, the less resources every base part needs. And then once you hit medium survival, you don't even have to craft a compass. With medium survival, you'll have all the directions without a primitive compass. If you guys found this video helpful, do me a favor and click that like button. If you want to learn everything about Scum and be fully prepared for 1.0, click that subscribe button. Thank you for your time, and I hope I helped you in some way. See you guys later. Cheers. Sorry. We're not done yet. Because we've got an exhaustion problem. We need a bed. Okay, we need a bed. So when we go to base building, we've got a basic bed. Okay, we've got a basic bed that takes 4 rags, 4 pieces of rope, and a cutting tool. And then we've got a fancy bed. Okay, we've got a fancy bed option. And the arrow is just where you're going to spawn when you get out of the bed. Okay, so we've got a fancy bed option over here. That takes 4 nails, 4 long sticks, 4 planks, 4 rags, and 2 feathers. Luckily, I had a farm that I could get feathers from, because a farm has bales, and bales have feathers, hay bales, and then one of them even had a needle. So that's what I can do now. I can go Shift F, add everything to this. I need 4 rags, so I can cut up my shorts. Now I'm going to cut up my shorts, and I'm going to cut up my socks. Going to add that. Going to get the nails. I'm sure I've got some nails here. Yeah, I've got some nails here. And then I need 4 long sticks. I'm going to need a branch for that. A branch will just be faster, guys. A branch will just be faster. Instead of cutting down 4 bushes, I can just cut down the branch once and get the 4 long sticks. And now that we've cut up the branch, we can get 4 long sticks very easily. So there's our 4 long sticks. And then we need 4 planks. And the 4 planks is even easier. How do we get 4 planks? We pick up a log that we've got space for in our backpack. And yeah, we cut up the log into planks. And then we've got our bed. Remember, if you didn't pick up feathers or you didn't have nails, there's no excuse for not crafting the improvised bed, because that just needs sticks, which you've got around you. You've got rope around you. You've got rags that you can get in a town or anywhere, and you've got a cutting tool. So you can always build the improvised bed if you want to. But I want you to sleep in a bed every single time you log out. Whether you sleep in a bed in a town or a point of interest or at your base, or even if you're in the middle of the forest and you're too lazy to run to a town, you craft a bed and you sleep on the bed. And if you're even too lazy to craft an improvised bed in the middle of the forest, then you put your arrows in your clothing instead of using a quiver, and you carry a bedroll with you, like a sleeping bag. You'll find a bedroll in the game. And then you put the bedroll on the ground and you sleep on the bedroll, so that the next time you log in, you don't have a problem with exhaustion, because as soon as we rest, we start recovering exhaustion. Now we've got 26, you can see at the top, we've got 26.3 stamina units of exhaustion. And by just lying in this bed, it's recovering 24 stamina units per hour. So how long do we have to stay logged off so that we're not suffering from exhaustion anymore? Well, 24 stamina units per hour. We need to recover 26 stamina units. So roughly an hour. Okay, if our exhaustion was more, then we would have done the same calculation. Let's say we had 48 units, okay, of exhaustion at the top. And lying in a bed only recovers 24 stamina units an hour. Then we would need to log off in a bed for 2 hours. And when we come back, our exhaustion is recovered. If we don't want our exhaustion to bother us because we like playing for long periods of time, then we're going to drink coffee or eat coffee raw, or we're going to eat a lot of cooked food because cooked food will enable us to not get exhausted so quickly. That is the end of the video. Have a great day. See you guys next time. If you want to see my community represent, if you want to see my team on the Showdown server that the developers are running, if you want to see how the Goof Troop represents my community, come join me every Saturday, 8 p.m. GMT+2. I'll be streaming it live. Later, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers.